Hello there, fellow filmmakers, and welcome to the second episode of Let's Talk Film. I'm your host, Harvey Bridgewater, and with me, same as last time, we've got Daniel Shern and Luke Shooter-Page.
What's
Hello.
up? So this week we're doing a Harry Potter special, mostly because Dan was very impatient and couldn't wait any more duration of time until we did another one.
Just procrastinating, should be doing uni work, but doesn't matter anymore.
It doesn't matter.
Same. Exams, they are what they are, but, Harry Potter can't wait.
It's more important, obviously. Obviously. So we're basically going to go through which one's our favourite, and then we're going to go through our lists. We're not going to go into much detail because we don't want this to be 3.5 hours long. And then we'll go through each of the films individually, talk about what we like, what we don't like, and why a certain film is on a certain spot on the list. Capiche?
Lovely.
Comprende.
Coolio. Jones.
Can I just say one thing?
Yeah.
Were you like trying not to laugh when you introed that?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Well, hello, fellow filmmakers.
I just thought it was funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just say it to yourself into the mirror every night before you go to bed so that you no longer find it funny.
I'll say it in my sleep. So we're sitting there, Paige will be looking at me really concerned. It'll just be, hello there, fellow filmmakers. Hello there, fellow filmmakers. Just like that.
It's going to be like, what
I'll just say because
the
it
Exorcist?
almost made me laugh, but yeah.
I know. I heard Dan. You did a good exhale. I thought he wants to laugh, but he's not allowed. Anyway,
You held it in this time.
I held it in, yeah. Anyway,
right.
yeah.
Let's continue. Right. Who wants to go first this time?
Oh, will it be me again? Are we
Sure.
doing it the same order?
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
We might as well.
Alright. Well, very briefly, my favourite Harry Potter film is The Chamber of Secrets.
Oh.
And
Ooh.
briefly why is because whenever I think of Harry Potter, I think of that film.
Uh-huh.
It makes me feel very nostalgic.
Yep.
And I just love the world in it. So, yeah.
Fair enough.
We'll talk about it more later.
That was very brief. Well done.
That was brief. That's what we like to see. We can chat at length later.
Yes.
Yeah.
Luke.
My favourite is Prisoner of Azkaban because, other than some points that I'm going to talk about later, I think the story is great. I think it's very well shot, and it was my most memorable from when I was a kid.
Thank you, Luke. My favourite Harry Potter film is, of course, Prisoner of Azkaban. Because Alfonso Cuarón came in there and he said, I ain't going to make a boring movie. I'm going to make whatever I want, pretty much. And I appreciate that. And it's a good time. That's, Prisoner of Azkaban.
That section was a lot shorter than last time.
It was. It was.
Well,
I feel like that's a
To
good,
be fair-
sensible length.
Yeah.
last time we didn't need to talk about stuff because we talked about it anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, let's briefly go through the lists. And by that, I mean we're just going to say what goes where, and we're not going to say anything else. We can leave a space for even a reaction if you want, just like a ooh or a interesting.
Ah,
Can I say no? Or like...
You could be like, I don't agree.
can we do like a parliament disagreement? Like, "Ruh,
No.
ruh." No?
No.
I'll be Jacob Rees-Mogg.
Right.
Why would you want to be him?
Right. Okay. Daniel, start at number 8.
Order of the Phoenix.
Luke?
Yeah.
Chamber of Secrets.
Oh, no.
I knew that was going to annoy him.
My number 8 is Philosopher's Stone.
Ooh.
Yeah. Or Sorcerer's Stone if you're American and
No.
have
No.
a small brain.
No.
Number 7 for Daniel.
Deathly Hallows Part 2.
Ooh. Lukey.
Philosopher's Stone.
Okay. My number 7 is Chamber of Secrets.
Oh,
Daniel,
Trying to
angry
rage.
face emoji.
Daniel number 6.
Half-Blood Prince.
Okay, Luke.
Deathly Hallows Part 1.
My number 6 is Order of the Phoenix.
Ooh.
Oh,
Ooh.
Daniel number 5.
Goblet of Fire.
Okay, Luke.
Deathly Hallows Part 2.
My number 5 is also Goblet of Fire.
Ooh.
Daniel number 4.
My number 4 is Philosopher's Stone.
Luke.
My number 4 is Goblet of Fire.
Ah.
Ooh.
Mine is Half-Blood Prince.
Ooh.
Daniel number
Ooh.
3.
Deathly Hallows Part 1.
Ooh.
Ooh. Luke?
That's quite high up. My number 3 is Order of the Phoenix.
Ah.
Not agreeing.
My number 3 is Deathly Hallows Part 2. Daniel, number 2.
Prisoner of Azkaban.
Luke.
Half-Blood Prince.
My number 2 is Deathly Hallows Part 1.
Ooh.
And we all obviously know our number
Highly
1s.
rated.
Chamber of Secrets,
Yeah.
because it's the best.
And Prisoner of
Prisoner of
Azkaban,
Azkaban,
because it's the best.
Because it's just,
It's best.
yeah,
Better.
inarguable. Get out of here.
I mean, obviously. And of course, I'm going to spring the legendary Best Independent Film question, which you never prepare for.
Ooh,
And the obvious answer is, of course, Philosopher's Stone.
Yeah, I don't know
First
really.
one.
Yeah,
Just because it did, it could have not had a sequel, really, couldn't it?
I
True.
suppose
I
so.
think from the story's perspective, it's the one with the least kind of left for the next book, and that's
Yeah.
probably because it was the first book she ever wrote, and it's the first film they ever made. And
Yeah.
you never
Philosopher's Stone.
start out trying to make a series unless you're DC,
Of course.
and we all know how well that
Uh,
went.
I really think that was a good segue, Harvey, into the next
Into
section.
the next section, we're just talking about all the Harry Potter movies in the order that they were released in. And of course, we start with Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, or as it was titled in America, Sorcerer's Stone.
Do we have an American audience? Do we have an audience?
No.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, about 40 people. We have an audience of about 40 people. And 3 of them are Dan.
Okay.
So,
Well,
it's true.
Okay.
You can't deny.
I'm gonna call it the Philosophers then from now on because I don't care for the Sorcerer's Stone.
well,
Yeah.
if you are American, please comment below.
Why is it called that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have small brain?
Yes. Philosopher's Stone. Let's start with Dan.
Yeah, I put it in the middle of my list.
You did.
Yeah, I think the child acting is bad in places.
Yeah.
But like I said for Chamber of Secrets, I think those two I can't speak. Those two films
Right.
they have like
right,
this,
right, right.
they have this
Just quick.
like,
Just quick.
what?
I'm gonna briefly go to the toilet. Okay? Because this is like
Wow.
spur of the moment, just a feeling, and I thought that's not good.
Oh
So,
dear. We're gonna
you're gonna have to edit. You know, and we can
That's
edit out
fine. That's fine.
my fuck up as well.
No, we'll keep that.
Oh.
No, fuck you.
I'll be back. Just talk amongst yourselves. I'm going to leave it recording. Say some fun stuff. Talk about Fantastic Beasts while I'm gone, and I'll just put it. I'll just edit.
alright.
I'll just edit it in at the end.
Smooth segue into Fantastic Beasts.
Yeah.
Go.
Right. Alright, well, if they were in my list, they would be the bottom two because they're the worst.
Well,
Crimes
I
of
mean, I
Grindelwald-
enjoyed the first one, but I don't think it's quite comparable to the main Harry
honestly,
Potter's.
when I saw the first one in cinema, I didn't like it that much. And then I didn't see the second one in cinema. I saw it on at home,
I don't blame you.
and I can't really remember any of it. And I remember it being really dark, the film,
Yeah.
and not being able to see what was going on.
It
But-
was far too dark. I think the storyline was all over the place. They tried to set up like the mega Nazi wizards, which is fun, and the Dark Lord and all that, and Dumbledore having a relationship with a mass murderer.
Yeah, it was a bit strange, wasn't it?
It's weird, and they tried so hard to set up like a series of films in number 2. It felt like all of the plot points were resting on a third film, and it's dumb. And they wasted Flamel's character, and it was sad.
Yeah, he's like a weird old. I can't even really remember, but I just remember him being very, very old and like crooked. like that film is so forgettable in my opinion.
Yes,
Both of them are actually. I think I've watched the first one twice. I've only watched the second one once. So I mean, maybe some people would say I can't really comment on them, but
I only ever watched the second one once, and I had a lot of time to think about it. Ruminate, really percolate those ideas, and I still maintain the fact that it's bad.
I just like it was never. Even if the films were good, I still wouldn't put them above any Harry Potter film because I think it's just very unfair because you just don't get the same investment. It's not quite the same. Like Hogwarts is so much more interested in New York and Paris because it's new. And the problem is with Fantastic Beasts, like the magic has already been. You've already seen it all before.
So you don't get the kind of wow factor of being introduced to that world because you're already familiar with everything. Exactly,
and I think they thought, oh, let's have all these magical beasts appear because they weren't in Harry Potter, but like they're just. When I look at them, I just think CGI, like Harvey with Dexter in Attack of the Clones. But I don't mind it in Attack of the Clones, but I mind it in this.
I think the best moments of those films are Newt just being himself with the animals.
Yeah.
I don't want any of the love subtones because they were handled really poorly.
There's so many of them as well. There's like at least 3 love triangles I could think of. Maybe 4 even.
It's dumb. I think I didn't need characterization for Nagini. I never wanted characterization for Nagini.
I know, that's so weird, isn't it? Like, why?
No, she was just a snake for years, but she's a person.
She was a person that could turn into a snake, right? And then after Voldemort turned her into a Horcrux, she just stayed a snake. Is that what it is? I don't really know too much about that.
No, I don't think it's very well explained. I liked it when it was just like he had a pet snake that was part of his soul because it kind of was like, oh, that's the kind of thing he would have. But
I don't know. Not great films. I would
get onto the topic of Horcruxes later, but
Harvey's not back.
He's not back. We could rip into it a little bit further if you want.
We could, or we could talk about the books for a little bit. I mean, I know it's Let's Talk Film, but have you read a Harry Potter book before?
You insult me, Daniel.
So you've read how many?
All of them.
You've read all of them.
You prepubescent child.
I'm older than you. Shut up.
Yeah, of course I've read them.
Okay, well, I've only read the first 3.
Well, I think you've read Harry Potter before it started getting dark in the books.
Yeah.
You got the light-hearted Harrys.
Yeah, I just got intimidated by how long they looked.
Oh.
I got them on the bookshelf downstairs, and you've got the first 3, and they're like, quite short. And then you go Goblet of Fire. I haven't got time now. Then you got Goblet of Fire, and it's just this fat book, and I'm just like, I can't. That's
understandable. it's probably quite a daunting thing, especially if you're not having them read to you as like a bedtime story or something.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't get Harry Potter read to me. I did read Harry Potter. I think I did it in a weird order as well. I read Prisoner of Azkaban first, which is really strange.
Really?
Then I think I went Chamber of Secrets, then the first one.
You just hopped about, didn't you?
Yeah, I know. It was weird. And then I never got too. Just didn't want to read Goblet of Fire because it's too big. But
Yeah, that's fair.
It's probably a shame because I've heard it's the best book.
Goblet of Fire book.
Yeah, maybe you disagree.
It's probably one of the ones with the most changed between book and
I've heard the Half-Blood Prince is a good book as well. But I could be wrong. I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't read them.
No, you're not wrong. Well, a lot of the books are good, obviously, because otherwise they wouldn't be popular. I mean, I do have criticisms with them. Although I do love the world of magic and all that, I do think that you should never have made Avada Kedavra a spell because it turns your wand into a gun. You shoot a magic bullet, they die. Maybe
there could be because I don't know everything, like little lore piece to it, but maybe how in computer game. Well, I'm just saying it for people who don't know, but you have like cooldown on some like abilities. Maybe that could have
you're being too hopeful. It is not explained in that way, so therefore it doesn't exist.
Yeah. Oh, I think I heard something.
That was my dad asking if I was hungry, and I have had tea already in a small form, so I'm all right.
Okay. Well, have you read the Cursed Child?
I have actually.
How was that?
Well, short.
How's Fantastic Beasts?
We talked about it, and then we moved on because we said they were both shit.
What do you move on to?
The books.
Oh.
Well, I did say.
Fuck that. Philosopher's Stone. Let's go.
Yeah. Right.
Daniel.
Start again.
Yeah.
Makes me feel very nostalgic. I love all like the Christmas part and like sneaking around the castle and like first seeing Quidditch. It's just a nice film to watch.
I agree. I think it's the most Christmassy of all of them. Like you definitely get an impression that Christmas happens.
Yeah.
I think it starts the tradition of always doing a special part of the film for Christmas in the films.
I think Chris Columbus has definitely directed better films. Hear me out. Chamber of Secrets, obviously. He did that one. I feel like this film was made in a very by the numbers fashion. Nothing stands out about this film that's like, ooh, that's an interesting shot, or ooh, that's an interesting transition, or you get me?
I disagree. Isn't this the one which has Hedwig flying when it goes into Christmas?
Believe it or not, Dan, that's Prisoner of Azkaban.
Oh, okay. Sorry, it's been a while, but
the best one. The best
yes.
one.
Well, yeah.
This is the one where Hagrid drags the Christmas tree.
The Christmas tree. Yeah. Okay, I remember that. Yeah.
Right. I think this is it's probably one of the least technically interesting films in terms of how it was filmed.
Yes, I think on a visual effects standpoint, it's very impressive.
Who's wiping something?
That's me. I'm doing my glasses. Just continue. It's fine.
I like how all the characters are set up. I mean, you don't go and think, oh, that person's putting a really, really bad performance.
Well,
I don't think the kids did.
No,
I think they did. I think they did as well as you could for child acting.
I think a couple of things stand out to me. Well, the two main actors that I didn't like the performance of very much. I think Dudley. I think he's all right, but sometimes I can tell that they've had to do a line replacement with his dialogue, and that bothers me a little bit. And Mrs. Dursley.
Yeah. They're not in it for that long.
Yeah, but compare them to Vernon, Mr. Dursley.
Yeah.
Like he's leagues above.
Yeah.
In acting
they do
range.
enough for you to be able to not like them as people.
I agree.
As their characters, but not really get anything more than that across to you.
Yes. So, Dan, where did you put Philosopher's Stone on your list?
I put it 4th.
Is there any reason that it's in the middle ground?
Because I think when I think of Harry Potter, I mainly think of the first 3. But like, obviously, I put Deathly Hallows above this one, but I'll say later. But I think it's got this sense of wonder that the later films didn't, and like technically they're probably better films, but I just prefer like the world building in these films, and I think that's what I mainly like about Harry Potter.
Yeah,
like my top 5 maybe actually are more world building, whereas the rest are more character.
Yeah,
I think anyway.
I see. Yeah, I see where you're coming from.
But it's weird because, as I was talking, it's weird to go back to Fantastic Beasts now, but like that film is more world building, but it doesn't work for me. But in Harry Potter, it did with Hogwarts, and it's interesting seeing a magic school.
Well, I think Fantastic Beasts spends too much time with the explaining, rather than Harry Potter basically just throws you in the deep end, says, "This is Hogwarts, it's a castle, we do spells and stuff," and then you just pretty much see the rest of it. You see it for yourself.
I absolutely love it when Harry Potter and you have like secret parts of the castle and you're exploring. And I think that's why probably Chamber of Secrets is my favourite, but we'll talk about that next. But yeah, someone else talk now.
Okay, Luke, where was Philosopher's Stone on your list?
Well, it was 7th out of 8, so not particularly high.
Yeah.
I, as you know, do not rate child acting very highly.
Really? It's so many kind things to say about Jake Lloyd.
I don't blame the children involved in child acting, because most of the time they are giving it their best.
Yeah.
And in terms of Philosopher's Stone, whenever there was an adult actor in the scene, they generally did quite well.
Yes.
Especially for their age, because they were very young when they started this.
Yes, but they how old? It's like 11 maybe? 11, 10?
Yeah.
11, 12.
Yeah.
Like barely high school age. So for that, congrats to them, you did a decent job. I think they're all a bit awkward when together. Which I didn't see it when I was a kid, because of course it's a kid, you don't see that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But as an adult, the lines are they're not good enough. It just feels weird.
Fair enough,
Luke.
Luke.
Together, because I don't get that chemistry, you know.
Yeah. I put Philosopher's Stone at 8, last. And you know why that is? It's because when I go to watch all the Harry Potter movies, the one I always think, shall I just skip it? And just start at Chamber? That's every single time I just think, do I need to watch Philosopher's Stone?
It doesn't do much for the overall plot.
No.
Well, it introduces all the characters obviously, but like the ending doesn't really make a difference to anything.
Yeah, I feel like after the first watch, I find it quite boring.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there.
Because a lot of the wonder of like seeing it all for the first time is obviously lost, because you know, rewatching it, I already know beat for beat what's going to happen, and yeah.
I don't think Quirrell is a particularly strong villain.
No, and I am not 100% certain on why Harry beats him with touch or whatever.
His mum loved him, therefore he has bad touch.
I get it in like in Goblet. Voldemort's like, oh, I can touch you now, but does
the whole thing was his mum, right? With a dying breath, blessed her child with some sort of divine protection against Voldemort specifically.
The thing is, this is like heading towards like the wider problem with Harry Potter, which is like,
well,
what are the rules? Like, can't everyone just bless someone else with that ability?
Yes, I have my thoughts on magic systems, and they are long and not really for this, but
well, we can talk very briefly about it at the end.
Yeah.
So, other than it being sort of a bit of a bore, a bit sluggish, some of the acting's pretty
Although the adult actors, for the most part, knock it out of the park.
I think every
Alan
adult
Rickman.
was cast perfectly, but I feel like they're all still coming into their roles. You know, they're not quite there yet.
I don't know, Severus Snape.
Well, yeah, Alan Rickman's just amazing.
I think he nailed it quite in the first film, and I think
I think he nailed it.
I think Maggie Smith nailed it as well as McGonagall.
Yes, I think they are probably the two stronger actors.
What about Hagrid?
And Hagrid as well. Yeah, so there's
solid.
Yeah, I will say I do prefer the Michael Gambon Dumbledore.
Yes,
is that right?
I do.
Yeah, that's it.
I do prefer Michael Gambon, but Richard Harris, rest in peace, did a fantastic job as the more child-friendly Dumbledore.
Yeah, it worked for those two.
Yeah,
films.
for those two films, which are aimed more towards a younger audience, the softly spoken, nicely mannered Richard Harris Dumbledore made sense.
I think he's probably closer to the book as well, Dumbledore.
Because Dumbledore's always very softly spoken, and Michael Gambon's just a bit like, "Did you put your name in the goblet of fire?" You know?
Yeah, I think it conveys it better on screen. You get a better kind of sense of character out of Dumbledore. When he's a bit more emotional.
Yeah, from I think Gambon's.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll come to that.
Yeah.
Is that all we have to say about Philosopher's Stone?
Harry does no spells. Harry needs to do more spells.
He is a bit of a shit wizard. Honestly.
Yeah, well, they all are apart from Hermione in the first year, so I mean.
True, but the acting of Emma Watson in that film is particularly not perfect. I think she gets.
There's one scene in particular, like when they're walking into the Great Hall, and she's like, "Hogwarts history," and it just like I always look at that and think,
I always think
need to do that line again.
I always think of that bit where Harry gets on his broom to chase Malfoy into the air, and she's like, "What an idiot!" It makes my skin crawl. I don't know. There's something off about it. You can tell Chris Columbus is just like, say it like a nerd.
Well, I think that's typical of a bigger issue with Hermione, and probably I'll get onto Ron's character later in the films.
Yeah. I think we're pretty much done with Philosopher's Stone. I like the Nicholas Flamel stuff, although I feel like it should have been maybe expanded upon.
Yes, that was needed.
Rather than just not why was it needed, more just like at the end Dumbledore's like, yeah, we decided to destroy the stone, Nicholas Flamel's dead now, oopsie. I feel like we could have had a little bit more than just an explanation.
But, you don't really get the stakes of why the stone was important.
But that's just an issue of translating from book to film, I think.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Chamber of Secrets. That's how it's pronounced,
Dan
right?
should start this off.
You guys start off, and then I'll go last.
Okay, Luke.
Uh,
Where did you put Chamber of Secrets on your list?
at the very, very bottom.
Oh dear. Why
Sorry,
didn't you
Dan.
elaborate, sir?
I feel like the acting in this one wasn't as good for their age for me.
Hmm.
I know they're not that much older, but also it just doesn't work for me, especially Lockhart.
Okay.
He is so infuriatingly just obvious of how bad he is at anything. It's ham acted all the way. And Dumbledore, I have issues with in this one as well.
Okay.
Because he just lets stuff happen. He's like, oh yeah, kids are dying. Oh well, it's fine.
I personally feel like Dumbledore's a bit like that in every single film. But
Well,
continue.
again, another issue with Dumbledore's characters in the films. But, like, could he not have done something?
No.
Did he? He also knows Hagrid's innocent, and he's just like, oh yeah, take him to Azkaban, it's fine. Like, Azkaban. The place is
Yes.
super prison.
I think you only get that it's a super prison as soon as we get to Prisoner of Azkaban.
Well,
I feel like
it's not like
but I
J.K. Rowling makes stuff up as she goes along. does she?
Oh no, of course not. Yeah, I feel like in these first two films, Azkaban's basically like a bit like juvie, you know, just like
Yeah.
you don't want to go there. That's where the naughty people go. But obviously, it's much worse than that.
Then it graduates to if you go there, you're Mecha Hitler.
Yes,
So-
pretty much. Anything else about Chamber of Secrets? Anything you like?
Anything I like.
Yeah,
Alan Rickman continues to shine.
of course.
I think I liked Harry's character.
Okay.
Even if he did use a distinct lack of spells again.
Well, he had that the duel with Malfoy.
That's true. He sent Malfoy on his ass, which that was a good scene. I like that one.
But then
Only 'cause
you could talk
Snape
about
was
the
a silent-
mistranslation of spell to book, from book to movie again with the spells.
Well, yes.
Because I think one of them spells he uses is like to do with being tickled, and I didn't get a sense of that.
Well, also, what's he uses all the time? It's Expelliarmus is literally just supposed to disarm your opponent, not send them flying or
Yes.
blow stuff up, which it does it varying
Yes.
times.
Anyway.
I think I've ragged on enough. Dan or Harvey?
Right. Chamber of Secrets isn't that bad of a movie, but child acting is questionable again. I think something about it's difficult. The petrifying is like okay, but there's a lot of MacGuffins, right? In this movie in particular. For example, no one actually died from being petrified because they all just happened to be looking through something.
True. It's a little bit contrived.
Hermione
there.
looked in a mirror, which obviously she knew to do. But, you know, Colin looked through a camera and that other kid looked through nearly had the snick or whatever.
I think the one where somebody looked in the water and the one where somebody looked through a ghost are possibly the most contrived. The other two make
Yeah,
more
it's
sense.
like once you get an actual size of the basilisk, like how did you not accidentally catch sight of it? Anyway,
Well, pipes.
yeah. So of course, Hogwarts
sorry.
full of giant fucking pipes apparently. Basilisk-sized pipes, to be specific. So Chamber of Secrets. What I like about Chamber of Secrets is the basilisk itself. Some great CGI, great model work. Just very imposing force. I like. You see, this is where I begin to struggle. What does Harvey like about Chamber of Secrets? I liked the bit with Crabbe and Goyle where Harry and Ron turn into them.
You like that bit?
Yes, I think it's fun. And it's just it's just a little. It's fun. It's like innocent and not. The acting's not completely terrible, and the voice syncing's very good. I think the problems I have are mostly. Again, it's like you've got a Chamber of Secrets in your school, and 3 second years can figure out where it is, but a group of fully grown and educated teachers can't.
Yeah. I'll tell you who I did like in this, and that is Jason Isaacs. I think he plays a very good villain.
I agree.
The characterization.
Yeah, I feel like. Yeah, I agree. I think he's very good. I disagree. I think Lockhart's good. Actually,
Okay.
I think that what's he called? Something Branagh.
Oh,
Bruce.
Kenneth.
Kenneth Branagh. I think he's good.
He's good. He's good.
I think he plays Lockhart. Well, probably exactly how Chris Columbus told him to.
Well, to be fair, I think my bigger criticism is that nobody noticed he was bad, not that the actor was playing him poorly. I think my issue there was that.
I think Harry and Ron probably always knew.
Yeah, but that's the point. How did nobody else? Dumbledore hired the man.
But Dumbledore hires fucking anyone. That's not the point, though, is it?
Why does Dumbledore hire anyone?
That's the point. It's a terrible. Apart from maybe Lupin, there's like well, they're all flawed, aren't they? All the
Well, yeah,
at least Lupin was competent.
That is an
He
issue.
was,
that is an
but
issue though, with Harry Potter as a whole. By the way, is placing the villain always as Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, except for Lupin, but yeah.
Quirrell.
Yeah.
You got fucking Lockhart. Lupin.
Yeah.
I still consider Lupin to be the. He's a new character and he fucks things up in the story, doesn't he? Not by choice, obviously, but
Yeah, when he becomes the werewolf. No. Yeah.
then Mad Eye,
Yeah.
Yep.
who's actually
What's it?
Dingy Junior.
Oh, Barty Crouch.
Barty Crouch
Junior,
Junior.
played by David Tennant when he had
love him.
a fetish with licking his lips for some reason.
I think that was a directorial choice.
Yeah, it was obviously a tell.
But why though?
He's also
And then
always the Doctor. He's
Half-Blood
Well,
Prince. Was it Half? Oh no, it's Order of the Phoenix. And then in order you had fucking bitch tits.
It was Snape.
Umbridge and
Umbridge.
Snip.
You said. Oh,
No, it was
okay.
Umbridge in
I swear you said
in
Half-Blood
Phoenix.
Prince. Yeah.
Half-Blood Prince was Snape, and he also turned out to be a fake-out villain, but we didn't know was fake at the time.
I mean, that is the second time in the
So that's
Harry Potter series.
that's 5 out. That's 5 out of 4, bro.
Your fractions don't add up there.
Yeah, it should be 6.
It's 6 out of 4, bro. The point is, why have that reoccurring thing? Because after the first 3 times, you're just thinking, oh, well, I know whoever's going to be the Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher is going to be bad.
Yeah, well, that's a flaw with the books,
Dan,
mainly, not the film.
Dan,
So.
That's
sorry.
true.
Let's continue, Dan. Chamber of
And this
Secrets.
is yeah.
Give them praise, Dan. It deserves it.
Right. Well,
does it? Continue.
this is obviously my favorite. I love this film. Fuck you.
Quiet, Harvey. Quiet. Let the man speak.
I just think it takes a darker turn than Philosopher's Stone. The world building is great, like all the mystery around Hogwarts, and it just has this ominous feeling that you don't get in Harry Potter ever again, in my opinion. I like the basilisk fight. I think that's great.
Mm-hmm.
It has like Philosopher's Stone as well. It has this I don't even know if there's a big Christmas part in this film, but it still feels Christmassy to me for some reason. I don't know why.
I don't think there's any Christmas in this one that I can remember.
I can't remember either, but
No, I think there might be a brief thing.
Yeah, I think it's very briefly, but anyway.
also it has the best Quidditch match. Oh,
Mm.
Yeah,
I mean, I have
sure.
issues with Quidditch, but that's not a film.
Yeah.
yeah, and I think all the performances are better in my opinion.
Okay.
Because that's just naturally going to happen.
Well,
but,
Emma Watson gets Most Improved award, I think.
yeah, definitely.
She's definitely much better in the second one.
No, I get.
I like the scene, as you said, where you turn into Crabbe and Gore and you go into the Slytherin common room. Because I just like it when Harry Potter explores new parts of the castle that look cool.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, you could say, oh, why don't you like Order of the Phoenix then? Because it's got the room of requirement. But I just think, well, that room looks shit. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
But like the Slytherin common room looks like what a Slytherin common room would look like.
Okay.
If you get what I mean.
Yeah.
I love the design of the Chamber of Secrets. With the snakes on the side and the big I don't know.
That was a very long pause between them.
I like I don't know who it's supposed to be at the end. Is it supposed to be Slytherin himself at the end?
No.
What's
Yeah.
that?
It's Thomas Marvolo Riddle.
What?
No,
The big head that the
No,
snake comes
the
out
big-
of.
Oh.
Yeah.
I think.
Oh, I
I
see
think,
what you mean.
I
Oh.
believe it is Salazar Slytherin.
No, yeah, it's
Yeah,
alright.
okay.
Sorry, that's my bad. My bad.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, and
also like the car.
The flying car, yeah.
That's
At the
true.
start,
I'd forgotten.
I
that.
love
Yeah, I think the car is a great addition to that film.
Yes, I like the scene with Aragog, although feels a bit tacked on.
Yes.
I like that scene. Yeah, when they go into the Forbidden Forest as well. Like, and they go
Again,
into it.
lack of
yeah,
spells.
true.
Hmm.
But they go into it again, and I quite like that.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't
I
really.
think there's a lot of Ex Machina issues. Like car Ex Machina,
It happens several times.
Yeah, but it's Harry
Basilisk
Potter. It's
Tooth
magic.
Ex Machina,
It's magic,
Yeah.
though, isn't it? Yeah.
Phoenix Ex Machina.
The Phoenix Ex Machina is a bit blatant.
Yeah, like drops the hat and then Sword of Gryffindor's like, oh, here I am, and then like 5 films later, they're like, yeah, the sword comes to whoever needs it. And you're like, oh,
I think that was explained in the books, but not the films. So
it probably was, but we're not here for books.
I will say, the one thing I don't like about Chamber of Secrets
Yep.
is I think the very last scene is a bit too happy for me, where Hagrid walks in and the whole school claps. I'm not sure about that.
I like it.
It's nice, but it's my least favourite part of the film.
I like it.
So if I had to find a negative of that film,
it makes me feel joy because Hagrid is just
yeah, I
perfect.
don't hate it. I just like, if I have a criticism for the film,
Do you know what I don't like?
that would be it.
When Dumbledore hands Harry the sword of Gryffindor and Harry grabs it by the blade. My boy, are you stupid?
Well,
That is a sharp end.
he uses a magic spell to
And
make
then,
sure he doesn't get cut.
you know what? Actually, we forgot about Dobby entirely.
Dobby, yeah.
I like
Dobby was
I
actually
like Dobby.
really good CG.
He was pretty good CG for the time, but I don't know how I feel about the altercation with Lucius Malfoy at the end of the movie, where he
Man was gonna kill him outright.
literally like starts muttering the killing curse. I'm just thinking like, but you can't kill him because it has to be Voldemort,
Well,
right?
Well, what if he was going for Dobby?
I'm going to point out something that I've said earlier.
Yes, J.K. Rowling makes things up,
Yes.
but surely, okay, this is like a wider problem. Surely Harry was never in any danger.
Harry specifically.
Well, yeah, because surely if the rule was either he has to kill Voldemort or Voldemort has to kill him. Does that?
I don't. You go. Sorry.
Well, no, because Voldemort said like no one else can kill him.
I see that as Voldemort. Like, people can kill Harry, but if they do, Voldemort won't like it. It's not a spell that says only Voldemort can kill
it's
Harry.
So stupid. Why would Voldemort be so annoying?
And with the Malfoy thing,
yeah, but Lucius
there,
was fully gonna body him.
Yeah, but think about it. Voldemort hadn't properly returned at that point.
Yeah,
whereas later films he did return, and you know he's
yeah, but they needed Harry for that. He was necessary.
That's why it doesn't make sense, Daniel.
Well, you could have killed Harry,
and you know what else is strange?
What?
When Lucius is like, says to Harry like, "One day you'll meet a sticky end." Made me very uncomfortable. Sticky end.
No, I think he's.
Come on.
He's a villain.
Yeah, Lucius wants to fuck Harry. Yeah, okay.
And your mind is in the gutter. Both.
It's
of you.
not.
Can I?
Sticky end. It's a strange line. It's weird. Anyway, Daniel, let's wrap things up.
I have nothing more to say, I don't think, actually.
Well,
so,
I am going to end this, actually, by saying something I liked about it, which I'd forgotten, and that is the Weasley house.
Yes, I like the Weasley house.
Yes, more world building, great.
I think that is the good kind of world building. It was none of the, what's going on here, explain why the pots are washing themselves to me. It's, you saw everything.
Yes. A part of me grows to hate Harry reacting to things really amazed. I know it makes sense and it's completely necessary, but something about his face just like, ooh, like, shut up.
I don't know if child Harry can do surprise and shock properly.
Anyway, continue.
Also, Ginny was wasted. Anyway, let's go on to the next.
Fuck Ron Hermione, okay? Harry and Hermione should have been together. I'm saying it.
No.
Prisoner of Azkaban. The best Harry Potter film, of course. Me and Luke put this at number 1.
Yeah, I'll put it at number 2. I'll put it at number 2,
okay.
So it's high up.
I mean, you're wrong, but yeah.
Well, no, he can have his own subjective opinion, Harvey. You know this.
I'm not sure. Daniel, you may as well start.
Yes, it's still a very, very good film. I just think I can't ever, because it's always these two that are my favourites again, and I just can't put my finger on it. Why? I just prefer Chamber of Secrets a little bit more. I just think it has more of an atmosphere to it, and that's why Prisoner of Azkaban is number 2. But I think the film is really great. Yeah, I'd agree. I think also the ending's better of Chamber of Secrets.
Okay.
In my opinion,
You mean the ending scene or the actual ending?
No, the ending, like with Harry and the Dementors, where instead of Harry and the Basilisk, I think I prefer that as well. But I like everything. I like the snowy sections in Prisoner of Azkaban where they go to, I can't remember where the town's, Hogsmeade.
Yeah.
Like that, and I like the creaky house.
The Shrieking Shack.
The Shrieking Shack. That's a very
the creaking house. That's the BTEC version.
Yeah, and the acting was better.
The acting was much better.
What do
I think you two.
Yep.
Yeah.
Luke, go, Luke.
Well, I have a lot to say about this film.
Don't take too long.
No, I won't. We took a long time talking about the last one. It's very good. I think the storyline is pretty solid. I am going to preface all of this by saying I, as a rule, tend to avoid time travel in stories wherever possible because it makes everything worse.
Yes.
And I think one of the few times where time travel is actually all right. I know that's controversial, but this time travel, for me personally, improves upon the story because it allows Harry to actually save himself rather than having somebody else save the day for him or being given something magical that allows him to save the day out of nowhere. That was his own improvement that allowed him to save himself.
Yes, I mostly agree.
I do think that the existence of the Time Turner causes problems for the universe as a whole.
It's fucked, mate. It's very broken, but that's why they write out the story.
I don't think they ever address in the films what happened to it.
I think it was deemed dangerous and confiscated by McGonagall.
I don't know why Hermione had it in the first place.
McGonagall gave it to her so she could study more.
I know that, but you're giving a child the ability to time travel.
I see no issue.
Right, okay.
Rose-tinted glasses, eh?
No.
But other than that, I think the story was excellent. I liked the conflict between Remus and Lupin and Pettigrew.
You can call him Lupin or Remus, you know.
Remus. Whatever, those three. I think it's great. I think their acting is good. I think Snape has a great character arc in this one as well.
He does.
Especially for proving more the good parts of Snape that you just don't see in the films prior to this, really.
Yeah, I agree. I have a lot of good things to say about Prisoner of Azkaban. I think, as far as directing goes, it's the most unique out of all the films.
Oh yeah.
I think Alfonso Cuarón, you can tell it's a film by him. Not only because of the funky transitions where the camera always is moving through glass or moving through impossible spaces, which is obviously interesting. The film basically lets you know that it's a bit more grounded this time because the first scene's mostly all shaky cam, which is all very Cuarón handheld action. And you know, this film, although at times very gloomy, I think there's enough of the childhood innocence for it not to be one of the later films, which they're all a bit like dim and miserable.
This film has a good middle ground.
Yeah, I felt like this was a perfect transitioning film.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's quite bright in the places that need it, but intentionally the Dementor scenes have good air.
I think all the performances are mostly better, apart from that one scene where Harry's just sitting on a log and he's screaming about wanting to kill Sirius Black. I can't take it seriously, but that's because Daniel Radcliffe's trying to squeeze out more emotion than he actually has. I think, I just love everything about this movie, honestly. I think the night bus is great. That's good world building. No explanation, that's really. True. It's just, it's there, it's a thing.
Take it away, Ern.
The same for the Leaky Cauldron.
Which is definitely better than it was in Philosopher's Stone. That's like a shit pub. And then in this one it's a lot better.
I think the creatures in this movie are all much more interesting. Personally, I think the Hippogriff is a great addition. We love Buckbeak. I think
He's
the
good.
addition of Animagus, the idea of transforming into an animal, and the idea of werewolves, not mentioned previously and just sort of is a thing now. I like that. I think Gary Oldman's amazing. I think Sirius Black is a great character.
Yes. Oh God. Yes, I agree. I haven't had one that bad in a while.
And just like the characters in Harry Potter, Luke is going through puberty.
Backwards, apparently.
Yeah.
Uh,
So, yeah, I think all the acting's great. I think Lupin's a great character. I think he's the most interesting dark arts teacher that we get introduced to. I think Michael Gambon smashed it. I think, having to replace someone else must have been difficult, but I feel like...
They do the shot to introduce them as well, don't they?
Yeah.
Don't they? They do a long... I don't know what it's called, but it goes towards his little pedestal.
Yeah.
And
it's like a different pedestal, and it's just like...
Yeah.
And
It was a clever way of doing it.
yeah, I think it's a great movie. My one complaint would maybe be that no, actually, I disagree. No, I'll go with it. I don't think there was enough McGonagall.
yes.
I can't remember what she does in that film.
Nothing, and that's the
I
problem, Dan.
think, sadly, in a lot of the films, McGonagall isn't shown all that much, even though Maggie Smith is a great actress and
Yeah.
fits the character perfectly.
I remember one scene now, actually. You can't come to Hogsmeade, Harry.
Yeah,
Why not? Because you haven't signed the form.
that's the one scene. That's it.
Yeah. That must... Yeah. can't
That
think
is
of
it.
anything else.
Yeah, no, what else she did? She was there for all of the teachers standing at
In the
Great
hall.
Hall stuff,
Yeah.
but so all of them.
Yeah.
I mean, Flitwick was there.
What
Flitwick
else?
does
What
nothing.
else do I like about this movie? I like the time travel stuff. I like the rule where it's basically whatever you do in the past is pretty much what always happened. I think that's a sensible way of addressing it.
I think although
the best thing the film did was not explain it too much. Because then you'd start to ask more questions about it. Once you understand how it works, I think it makes sense. And then once it's never brought up again, I think I'm okay with it. I think, of course, this is sort of a headcanon thing, like what do you consider to have actually happened off screen? In my mind, it would be more like maybe they destroyed it, or maybe it's just been deemed too powerful or something. Who knows?
Well, time travel is just busted, generally speaking. I think if they gave it like a restriction on how far back it could take you, then
yeah,
that might be good.
But they don't.
Yeah, I think
so.
the way they handled the time travel works quite well, and in a way that you can kind of understand as well.
Yeah, I feel like in a very contained way, it's good, but as the wider narrative doesn't serve to make things any easier.
No.
But as we're looking at these films individually, it's great. Love this movie.
Pretty good.
Yeah, I think
I love the
I think that's the
Dementors.
only film that we all agree is like amazing. I think, and the rest of the list is pretty different.
Yes. Let's obviously move on to
Yeah.
Goblet of Fire. Daniel, where was Goblet of Fire on your list?
Number 5.
It was also number 5 for me. And Luke, where did you have it?
Number 4, so slightly above.
Okay.
Okay, so we agree on this.
So let's talk about Goblet of Fire. What's good?
I like all the Triwizard tournament games.
I do as well, apart from I'm not sure I understand the wizarding contracts and all that. But other than that,
What do you mean, the cup?
no. Like, can Harry really compete? Oh yes, he's bound by a wizarding contract. What does that mean? Is he gonna like explode and die, or?
I think that's a little bit forced, so that Harry has to do it.
Yeah, but I'd like to one of them to be like, well, what happens if he doesn't do it? And then one of them's like, he'll die, or you know, or like
he turned into a
or
frog.
his mind will be wiped, or like, oh, he'll lose his magicness. Who knows? I don't care. It's just continue.
I think for this film, I'm going to move on to a different point-ish because I don't really have a problem. The reason I don't like it with the films above is because it's not like it focuses on the Triwizard Tournament too much, and there's not like enough lessons. And do you know what I mean? Like the other Harry Potter films,
Yeah, I
like
mean,
you're at a school.
This is one of the books where they didn't include. They didn't get to have much of the book in the movie.
No.
Yeah.
Because the Triwizard Tournament, although a large part of the book, isn't actually what the book is about half the time. So, you know. I like dragons though.
Yeah,
Dragons are always very cool.
I like this film, but then over the years, it's like I think it used to be like my favourite.
Yeah, but
and
I
then
think
it just went down.
I think my favourites were probably Chamber of Secrets and Goblet of Fire, but mostly because Basilisk is cool and Dragon is cool.
I like the dragon, like going around the castle.
Yeah,
just
I think
destroying
the
everything.
Hungarian Horntail is a wonderful looking dragon. I think it's very imposing and very well rendered and looks very present, you know?
I also think it's a weird decision that every guy in the school has long hair now.
That's just right. So I forgot to mention this with Prisoner of Azkaban, but I like that the uniforms aren't like tidy and stuff because I feel like that's more realistic for what people their age would do.
Well,
in this
if you
one,
haven't been to high school.
in this one with the hair, it's much closer to the book descriptions.
No, but if it was Harry and Ron, that's fine. But it's like pretty much every student has long hair,
It's
or
strange.
longer than they have.
But it's a directorial choice, you know?
I suppose.
Could just be that all the extras they got happen to have long hair.
Well, no, everyone sort of was a bit scruffy.
As a person with scruffy long hair, I don't see an issue with this.
Yes, but everyone around you doesn't have the same hair that they look. And it's not like
But what
and
if
it's
they
not
did? It would be
it's
a
not
good
like
thing.
before that point everyone did have short hair, but now they've all got all of a sudden very long scruffy hair.
I would praise
And
the
then
change.
And then the year after, they go back to all having short hair again.
Yeah.
It's really weird. For that 1 year, like everyone in the school has long hair.
It is
I
it
admit
is
your point, and you're
strange.
both correct.
But it's really nothing to do with the plot. I just thought I'd point that out.
I think the rules of the Wizarding Cup are not very clear because they talk briefly about like what you're allowed during each of the trials and what you're not allowed.
Well, they cheat in most of them, don't they? Like in the water one, was it? I don't know if it was because he's bewitched, but Victor Crumb like turns into a shark, doesn't he, or something?
Well, that's not cheating.
No,
That's
And
not
Harry
cheating.
just gets-
That's not
Fine.
cheating.
I think what they were trying to do was they were trying to get the students to find their own solutions to each trial.
Yeah, but I think Harry summons a broomstick in the dragon one. I'm pretty sure they said that you weren't allowed a broom, but maybe I don't know.
I don't think there was that kind of restriction, but well, you know,
Well, I
the dragon
thought
got
they
loose
weren't allowed
anyway,
a
so
broom.
I don't think it matters.
I think it's like the trolls are cool, but they don't really make much sense.
The problem is, though,
they're
that's
all
the film.
Yeah.
It's the trials, and that's about. I can't really remember much else about it. Keep hitting my mic.
Well,
I think
you got Mad Eye, and I like Mad Eye as a character. I think that is it Donald Gleason?
That's his
find
son,
out.
Oh fuck. Brendan Gleeson. He's great in everything he's in.
Yeah.
I think he was great in 28 Days Later as well.
Do you know what film he wasn't great in?
What?
The Assassin's Creed movie.
Damn, that film was a disappointment
I think
for very
that's
many reasons.
I think there's a separate podcast about that, Dan.
Yes.
I think Mad Eye's great. Although again, questionable choice from Dumbledore.
Well, yeah.
Longtime friends, Dumbledore doesn't recognise that he's not himself. Okay.
Yeah, like there should be things that Barty Crouch doesn't know, which is another point. I really do love the character of Mad Eye. I think he's very cool and should have been included in more things. But also, the Mad Eye we see is only ever Barty Crouch
In this movie.
in this movie, and so
But
I
then-
feel
but
like it's a
then-
little bit cheap to
Yeah.
try and get us to attach to him later on.
It's the twist is good, but Polyjuice one doesn't give you their memories and
No.
doesn't teach you their mannerisms. So when Harry and Ron become
And it changes his voice as well, which doesn't happen in later films.
I think it does actually happen. I think we just hear their voices so we don't get confused.
Oh, okay.
That's fair.
But yeah, that's an issue.
Yeah. I think it also takes away from some of the other characters because it kind of implies that Barty was controlling everything from behind the scenes.
Yes, I think his plan is a bullshit. There's I get that there's a lot of planning that can go into certain things, but there's just so many things that could have happened differently or gone wrong. Harry could have died many times. And I know he says at the end oh, do you think I would have let that happen? Oh, I gave you this and that so you could do it. But also, Harry is like a child. There is a thing called human error. He could have died.
Oh yeah, no, and he nearly does several times.
But
Like that broomstick thing, he nearly falls clean off a roof.
yeah, but no, of course, it was my plan to get you there the whole time. I'm sure it was, mate.
Yeah.
I think
yeah, sorry.
the licking of lips is strange, but a good way of Barty Crouch figuring out that Mad Eye is his son.
Yes.
Do you remember that scene?
Yeah, I
Yes,
do
that's
remember
true.
that, yeah.
Yeah. He does the lick lip and Barty Crouch just stares for a minute and obviously he knows. I like that. And it's not like he says it out loud.
No, you can see in his face
Yeah.
that he knows something, but the audience doesn't know what he knows yet.
But you kind of do. You know, if you're paying attention, I think it's obvious. I think the twist is pretty obvious, personally.
Right.
Well, I mean, it is, isn't it?
No, I didn't see it when I was younger, but that's because I was a kid. So,
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. First time viewing it, I didn't expect it.
no. When I
I don't
watched
know.
it first, I wouldn't have been able to guess that because I didn't pick up on a lot of the very minor clues that were left.
Yeah, I mean, well, when you see him in the flashback, I know he licks his lips, but it's just because the mannerisms are so different. But you can tell there's something off about him, but I wouldn't have guessed it was him unless I read the book.
It's because Mad Eye is mad.
Yeah, I know.
He's not a stable character.
you introduce two new characters, right? One that automatically they're probably both important, and then not only is the licking of the lips thing the ingredients of Polyjuice potion going missing. The what's he drinking at the beginning? What do you think he's drinking? Oh, I don't think it's pumpkin juice. Okay, there's a clue. Snape says, you've been stealing my Polyjuice potion stuff. Harry's like, what? No, I haven't. There's a clue.
Yeah, you don't. I suppose so. Then
Barty Crouch sees him licking his lips. He wanders off. Barty Crouch dies. There's a clue.
Hello.
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 Sorry, I just accepted a cup of tea. That's why I
That's okay. You can accept cups of tea.
I hate to say this now, but now I'm thinking about it. I think I'm swapping my 5 and 6 around in my list.
Okay.
So I put Half-Blood Prince above Goblet of Fire.
Okay.
Now I'm thinking about the 2.
You're
so I'm sorry about that.
You're a bit of a fucker, really, aren't you?
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
sorry about that.
'Cause,
yeah.
Yeah,
So,
you know, make things difficult for me in the editing process, you son of a bitch.
well, no, you can just.
What do you mean? I now have to halfway through change your list.
All right, we'll just keep it as
Fucker.
it is.
No,
Don't
it's
worry.
too late now.
You've said it now.
What
The words are in the ether.
Goblet of Fire is just a big movie to talk about. Really, I feel like we've been on it for a while. I feel like
I was going to say something else.
yeah, I feel like
Diggory.
yes, I like him mostly.
I like him, but I feel like he should have been given more characterization.
I agree, but I also like it when he gets fucking bodied. Because I feel like it's I feel like in that moment you transition from this half of the franchise to the next. You know?
When he died at the end, I didn't really care that much. Whereas if it was a character that I'd known, if you'd known since the first, if they had Cedric from the first film and onwards,
Yes.
and he was just there in the background or something, you would have probably cared a bit more.
True.
Because he's just been introduced in this film. You know,
Yeah.
it's probably J.K. Rowling's fault.
Yeah.
But,
Of course. Everything
Yeah.
is.
Well, true. They made Ron an arse in this film, just so that Cedric could be
I
pally with
like the
Harry.
scene where he gets his suit for the ball.
Yes.
That's quite funny.
That's true.
I like the ball mostly. I think what is strange is that band that play the wizard music, like the rock music.
Yeah, why is there a wizard rock band? It's like,
Well, that's the issue. Is it feels like a band doing a song about Harry Potter, not a wizarding band. You know.
yeah.
Anyway, that's Goblet of Fire. How should we wrap up
Solid.
Goblet of Fire? It's a solid movie, but it's sort of a bit mind-numbing at times.
Yeah.
If you get
It's-
what I mean.
A film that is engaging,
Yes.
but has certain story flaws.
Yes. Also, the fact that the Death Eaters definitely look like KKK is odd.
Well,
Yeah, I forgot about
yeah, it's like a black hooded version of the KKK. Well, I suppose that's kind of what they are. Death
I-
to Mudblood.
Yeah, in a way, yeah.
It's
Yeah, but
literally
did they need to
racism
look the
cult.
same?
No, they
Well,
didn't.
no, because that's why they got rid of it. But
Yeah. Anyway.
One positive point before we end. Voldemort.
Yes, Ray Fiennes, good actor.
and he's from
Um,
Ipswich. Sorry, that's wrong. Apparently, came to eat at the Red Lion in Chelmo once.
Oh, he made sure you
No.
went there.
Oh, I wasn't there, so
Anyway, solid movie.
that's a movie.
But just that's why
No one knows how to talk about this movie because
No.
it's like it's a good film, but it's also a bit and a bit forgettable if you compare it to other Harry Potter films.
Yeah, I
There
agree.
you go.
And I would say the same of the next movie, which is Order of the Phoenix. Bit forgetful, really. I think
Some of it is
I think the
forgettable.
last act is great, but everything else is filler.
It's my least favorite.
This is the one with Umbridge in it, right?
Yes.
I think
I think
she's very well played.
I think her performance
Acted.
is great, but this movie is like just filler. This is the one film where I think like, it's the same with Half Blood Prince. They're both quite fillery, but I feel like this
Wow.
one more so.
There was a forced relationship with Cho in this one, which was better developed in the books, but it just,
Yeah. I don't know. It's all
As a-
good, but not in a good way.
As this is my least favorite,
Yeah,
I will say
you go
the
for
two
it.
the two things that I like about this film that stick out to me is obviously Umbridge, great performance, and I like the design of the Ministry of Magic. I think that's a very
oh yeah,
good design. They did well there.
Is that it?
I don't really. I think compared, I don't hate this film.
Yeah.
I don't think it's complete shite, but if I compare it to every other Harry Potter film, it just does everything worse. It's
I disagree
more of
on
a
some points, but we'll get there.
It's more of a character film than any other. Maybe Half-Blood Prince. I'm not sure.
No.
I don't know about. I disagree. But you can have your opinion then.
I just don't think the plot is as interesting as any other. I think all the other ones have really interesting plots. Whereas this one is just like, oh, we'll form a little group, and then that group gets disbanded, and then we're like, oh, no, we're like 5 of us will go to the Ministry of Magic to find this crystal ball, and I think the ending's a bit.
Maybe the pacing
Forgettable
doesn't
for
work
me.
quite as well as some of the other films.
But what I'm surprised at is if I look at like top 10 lists on YouTube or whatever, people say this is their favourite movie. I'm
A
like,
lot of people
how?
do really love that one, which is odd.
Yeah,
but-
I just think it's like, as you say, it's like a bit like Goblet of Fire, bit middle of the road, but I just don't find it as entertaining.
It's more. It's definitely more forgetful and more
Yeah.
filler. But
Yeah.
Dan, I
I'll
have
tell you
to.
what I enjoyed though.
Okay, go for it.
Can I? I'll interject before you because I
Of
just want to get
course,
this
of
out there. I think the fight between Dumbledore and Voldemort is
Yes,
one
Queen.
of the best.
Very.
Simply because they don't just throw 2 spells at each other or have a laser fight. It's actual magic being thrown here.
Oh yeah, they're like just throwing very complex spells at each other, and it's odd to me that Voldemort never shows off the same arsenal again.
No.
But I forgive it because the rule of cool prevails.
Yes. I wish there were more creative applications of magic like that battle
Yes.
because it just looks so good. And
Yes,
I don't think we got
I
the
think-
same quality of fight again.
I think everything Dumbledore does is like the perfect counter to everything Voldemort does, and I love it. Like he throws fire, Dumbledore throws water. Voldemort throws his dark magic spell, and Dumbledore, I can't remember what Dumbledore does in return.
I think he
to be
just
honest.
stands there and just blocks it. And when Voldemort throws glass at him, he turns it into sand.
Exactly, it's just like a clever counter, and obviously shows that Dumbledore's not like, he just doesn't really want to hurt anyone, I don't think.
I think
it's all a great battle. I think this film is very strong because of Sirius Black. I think his relationship with Harry is definitely very good in this one. I think Umbridge is great. I think I like the Weasley bit with the fireworks.
I think the Weasley twins really came into their own in this film.
Yeah. I also like, although it made me cry, I like Sirius Black's death.
Right.
Because it is definitely a turning point for Harry, almost like a pull to the dark side if we're talking in Star Wars terms.
Yeah, I didn't like the death scene because I don't know if I felt that his death was deserved in that way, in that place. It didn't.
I don't
feel
think
like...
it was deserved, but I think that's the point.
Yeah, I
Because-
feel like he shouldn't have died to that, but he did anyway.
I think it works mostly because it's him and Harry dueling, and then Harry says Expelliarmus, and Sirius is like, "Nice one, James." Obviously, comparing Harry to his dad, you know, bit of a punch to the gut, to the emotional gut there. And then Bellatrix, also a great addition. Just comes in there and fucks it all up. I like this movie,
Yeah,
but
good villain.
Yeah, you actually get to see Azkaban in this film as well.
you
In
do.
the outside.
True.
I like this movie, but it's just so much of it is filler. You know, it doesn't feel like it makes any difference to the plot until the last half an hour.
That's true.
Yeah, I don't like watching this film that much, but like if you watch Harry Potter, like if you go on a watch through or whatever you call
Yeah,
it, you have to watch it really because of Sirius's death and
yeah.
Oh well,
Stuff
it's
like-
necessary in Voldemort.
yeah, you have to watch it. But I just like think, oh, now I've got to watch Order of the Phoenix.
I think
And-
this has one of the least interesting kind of openings. I don't know if
How does it even start, bro? Like, I don't.
the Death Eaters come and attack Harry in playground when Dursley's bullying him.
Oh,
Oh yeah, and the Dementors look worse in this film than they did in
They
Prisoner
do.
of Azkaban.
yeah. It's a strange opening scene.
Personally, I don't know. I mean, I do like the film. I put it higher than the previous one, but again,
Oh, and also, and it's a bit plot holey, but why are they flying like brooms along the River Thames?
It's a good question.
There's like 7 of them, and then Harry and Ron got in a lot of trouble for like flying a car and like
Because
above a
JK
train
doesn't.
station for 5
JK
seconds.
doesn't give a fuck. All right.
just apparate, bro. Just
She-
apparate. Would
No,
have saved
because
people's
you know why,
lives.
Luke? Because apparate
Yeah.
wasn't invented until Half-Blood Prince. It's the first
Yeah.
time you see it.
Or
Why-
use a freaking flu.
Well, yeah, why do people walk? Like, if you can apparate everywhere, why would you walk? Why do you need a broomstick? I don't get it.
It.
Why do you
It
need a
does
train to Hogwarts? Why don't you
make
just give
issues.
why don't you just give every child flu powder and say Hogwarts, and then throw it down at their feet, and they'll just appear in a fucking fireplace at Hogwarts?
I do think flu powder is woefully underused.
I think JK just needs to decide how things work and stick to it. But that's a wider issue.
Again, magic systems. I could talk all day about magic systems, but we don't have time for that.
Also, for a film called Order of the Phoenix, there's not much Order of the Phoenixing.
No, there isn't.
That's true.
Well, I think it's talking about the end mainly, isn't it? Because like they're supposed to come,
Yeah.
but like you don't know any of them well enough, so you don't really care apart from maybe Sirius.
I think every other film. So, Philosopher's Stone's obviously that's the main focus. Is like the Philosopher's Stone. Chamber of Secrets makes sense. Prisoner of Azkaban makes sense. Goblet of Fire makes sense. Order of the Phoenix, not really about the Order of the Phoenix at all. And the same for Half-Blood Prince. It's not really about the Half-Blood Prince at all. But
Or Deathly Hallows.
well,
Maybe actually.
I get they're definitely it's hard anyway. Let's just finish Order of the Phoenix by saying it's a bit meh.
Well, it's
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
it's got some very good scenes in it, and
I think the last half an hour was not meh, but everything else is
I
meh.
think it's kind of carried by
its legacy is
establishing-
formed by that last.
establishing the audience's hatred of Umbridge, getting that to move the plot on to begin with, and then the bombastic ending.
Yes. Let's talk about Half-Blood Prince. I put this at number 4.
I moved it up to number 5. Sorry, Harvey.
Fuck it. Luke?
I put it at 2, but I can't remember why.
That's not very good now, is it?
The thing is, with
So-
Star Wars, I remember those films like at the back of my hand, but these ones
No,
Half-Blood
I
Prince.
Yeah.
struggle with the later films because I've seen them less than the original ones.
Half-Blood
No,
Prince
the
is
earlier
good fun.
I call this film fun.
It's fun
Actually,
until
no, I would-
until the ending. You see, it's another
Yeah.
one of those.
Mm.
So this film opens with Harry in a subway drinking coffee, and then he gets a girl's number, and then and then Dumbledore whisks him away.
He cooks Harry.
He does cockblock Harry, but you know what? Oh
I
well.
mean, he says sorry, so you know.
So
And he knows he's doing it. So
I like the addition of Slughorn.
yeah, I do as well.
I think I really like that actor. Is Jim Broadbent?
Yeah, so
Okay, yep.
He's very good.
I think this film is just like the last bit of innocent fun you get in the franchise.
yeah, because I really like there's one scene where they go into potions and Harry and Ron see the like there's 2 books.
Yeah, there's
left
like
in
the
cabinet.
one book that looks a bit shit,
Yeah,
and then they have
and they have like
the squabble.
yeah, I love that. That's
Yeah,
great.
I think
I also really
I've done that. So.
I really enjoy the bit where Harry takes the Felix Felicis, which is the
yeah,
It's
the luck potion.
The luck
I think
potion.
that's dumb as a plot point because that shouldn't exist.
yeah. Why would Voldemort not just like drink a fucking pint of it before he goes into battle with Harry or something? I don't know.
Yeah,
But you know,
It's
that's
one of those things
that's JK just making. up
JK
some
added an
rules.
addendum to say that brewing too much of it, brewing it in
Yes.
the incorrect way makes it poisonous.
Yeah, but like,
and it takes
how
like a
hard?
month or so. But
Yeah, but Snape knows how to do it. So
yeah.
anyway, I think the scene where he takes it and then he finds Hagrid and they get pissed is great. I love that.
Yeah.
I think it's very warming to see Harry not so miserable and
True.
stern all the time. He just chills out a bit.
I like that. Yeah, I like this film because of that. Because Order of the Phoenix is like he's just grumpy all the time and
bloody
alone.
miserable.
I loved like the school atmosphere that this film brings back.
Yes.
It was kind of missing from Goblet of Fire, and I know Order of the Phoenix had like exams and stuff, but it wasn't quite right. I
Yeah.
don't think.
No,
Whereas
they
this
were
film-
focusing more on Umbridge and her plans, weren't they?
Yeah,
Day-to-day life.
Yeah.
but this film does that really well.
Yeah, this
And
film's
also-
it's just like back to a normal year at Hogwarts
Yeah,
for most of the time. And it's refreshing to see just everyone. I feel like by this film everyone's characters are pretty much set in stone.
yeah.
And I appreciate that.
I like the backstory stuff with Dumbledore and the I can't remember what you call it, but you put your head in the
Pensieve.
water, the Pensieve. That's it.
Yes, the Pensieve is one of them plot points that isn't actually a negative addition
Yes.
because it's not completely broken and overpowered in any way.
Mm.
So,
you can't change it. You're just looking at the past.
yeah,
whereas-
it's a very balanced addition.
yeah,
It's a very good way to have flashbacks in your story without it being information that the characters don't get.
Yes, I agree.
Because normally, when there's a flashback, you're either looking through somebody else's point of view, or only the audience gets that information. You just have to wait for the characters to find out.
This film is good. It's got a good vibe.
One thing I don't like about it is like the camera. It's like very dark compared to the other films.
Yeah,
I don't mean that. Like, the scenes look darker.
I agree. I feel like that's a trend though, especially for the last, because the last four were all done by David Yates, who also went on to do Fantastic Beasts, and all those movies have a very similar look, but the look is dark and grey.
Well, I think from like Goblet onwards, it was quite dark.
Yeah, but Goblet's still colourful.
Yes, I think from this film especially, there was very little bright lighting. It was all quite subdued.
Yes, very flat. But
solid.
I like Malfoy in this movie.
Yeah, he's the best he's been since Prisoner of Azkaban, I would say.
Well, they gave him some actual characterization for him, which is great.
Yes, and some internal conflict, which we like.
I like the fight in the bathroom with him and Harry.
Yes, I like the spell Sectum Sempra.
Sectum Sempra.
Which means, like, lots of knives. Right?
There's not a direct translation.
Well, there's a rough Latin translation for most of the spells.
Well, Latin or Greek, but yeah.
Well, yeah, I think it's interesting you can create a spell, although it doesn't make much sense in the long run. But
I mean, there are implications there, but
like how? Okay, how do you make a spell?
Well,
do you just combine loose Latin and Greek words and then wave a wand and see what happens?
I think it falls down to J.K. Rowling's magic system again.
Just making things up.
She's got what I like to call it a soft magic system, which means there's almost no rules.
Fair enough.
It just is whatever she needs it to be.
It is what it is. I like the tower scene a lot. I like the bit where Dumbledore says to Severus, like, Severus, please. You know, because obviously in the wider story it means a lot more. And I like the reveal that he's the Half-Blood Prince, although it doesn't feel particularly weighty, because it's not like all the Half-Blood Princes, like, oh, there's a prophecy that the Half-Blood Prince will be the downfall of Hogwarts or something, and then Harry finds a book about the Half-Blood Prince and he's like, oh, this is strange. It's not like the only importance the Half-Blood Prince has to the story is the book of potion making, but then
he's only named in the book, whereas as you said, if it was like a prophecy or something, that would have been way more interesting. Now I think about that.
I'm sure in the book it explains why the Half-Blood Prince, what that actually means.
Is it because he's a muggle? A half muggle?
He's a mudblood, isn't he? He's a half-breed.
Like, okay, that makes sense, but also it just feels like a very weightless twist, because there's no, like what Dan said and I said, there should have been more behind it, just as a whole.
There's no narrative weight to the reveal, because the title of Half-Blood Prince doesn't mean anything narratively.
Yes.
I think what it's supposed to do is give you a greater understanding of Snape.
I see where you're coming from, but also no. Because
I see your idea, but you're wrong.
What the movie needed was a prophecy. It needed.
That's what the Order of the Phoenix could have had that in that little prophecy.
Exactly, the prophecy could have been. also one like Harry's gonna have to kill Voldemort. Voldemort will have to kill Harry, and the Half-Blood Prince will be the downfall of something or other. I don't fucking know. It just needed more weight.
Yeah.
But this film is number 4 on my list, mostly just because of what I mentioned before. It's nice to see Daniel Radcliffe relax a bit. It's nice to see more of Hagrid.
Yeah, I like that part of the film where they go back into Hagrid's hut, because they didn't go in it in 4 and 5.
And I think that scene in the cave where Dumbledore swirls fire around his head is pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, that's pretty fun.
It is. Cool. It is pretty cool.
Pretty fucking cool. Let's wrap up Half-Blood Prince by saying it's pretty good.
It's alright.
It's better than Order of the Phoenix.
It's definitely better. Well, yeah. Oh, yeah, because you put it on two on your list, Luke.
Yes. There was a reason, and I was convinced, and now I can't remember what it is.
If you remember, just let us know.
I'll drop it in later on, and you can edit it to your heart's delight.
I won't. Let's go to number 2. Let's go to Deathly Hallows Part 1. Luke,
I love this film.
Where did you put this film, Luke?
I put this quite low. Now, in my defense of... I put it at number 6.
Okay.
In my defense of the lower rankings of the Deathly Hallows, it's because I don't remember them as well. So I haven't rewatched them in ages. And also I think they're quite... that the pacing is quite slow.
Okay. I love Deathly Hallows Part 1.
So do I.
It's my number 2. Which, for most people, is very high. Because most people would argue that this film is a bit boring and a bit slow. But yes. I think this is the closest you could get to a character piece for these characters. And I think it's just a refreshing look at the world of Harry Potter, not through the lens of students or Hogwarts, just through the lens of the characters instead.
I'm gonna 100% agree with you.
Yeah.
And I would have liked Fantastic Beasts to be more like this film. Less characters, just explore places that, like, I just don't think... I think this film, why I love it so much, is because you go back to Godric's Hollow and you go to all these, like, you go into, like, forests and...
Yeah, it's a travel
weird
movie,
locations,
and it's...
yeah.
Obviously, the balance between, like, location and character, I think, is done very well. I think this film succeeds because these are 3 already established characters and we're just getting to know them even better.
Yeah.
I think why Fantastic Beasts failed is it tried to introduce so many new characters all at the same time.
Yes, well, it tried to establish a world in a single film.
Which doesn't work.
No, but then he went even harder at that in the second one, which was just painful to watch.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about that, though. This movie is the best acted from the main 3, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'd agree with that as well.
I think Daniel Radcliffe... This is the film where he becomes an adult, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think he's the strongest of the 3 in his adult acting.
I agree, honestly. I think he's really good in this film. It's strange. I think the weakest is maybe Ron.
He has less stuff to do because he does leave for a while.
Yeah, but I like their argument scene mostly because of how Daniel Radcliffe plays it. Where it's like it seems more like a bottled up anger rather than just like an outburst.
Yeah.
Another scene I really like is how they tell the Deathly Hallows story.
I agree.
That was a great way of doing that. They could have just, had Hermione read the book.
Or like
Harry look out
or like
into-
a live action version, but I
Yeah.
like the little animation.
No, I think having it be kind of more artistically rendered is a much better way of doing that.
Because then it's more of a legend than fact. And I think that it's important for that to be left to some interpretation before the last film.
Yeah.
I have issues with the Deathly Hallows, but we can get to that with part 2. Just the Deathly Hallows as a whole. But I think this movie, although it ends in quite a downbeat way, I think this one, I know it obviously would lead perfectly into part 2, but I think, I don't know, this movie feels complete, although it's a part 1, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, I could see that.
I think it made sense for this movie to be a part 1. And it's difficult to explain. I just feel like the ending works, considering this is deliberately ended to lead on to the next one.
I think this is like a perfect way to do a part 1 and a part 2. Because if they all had it in one film, it would just not work. And
yeah, the
think-
craze of splitting up the final book into part 1 and part 2 after this, obviously I'm not thankful for that.
But it
No.
worked on this occasion, I think,
Yeah,
because all this setup is needed, whereas like the Hogwarts, I just like it wouldn't, like, getting all the Horcruxes wouldn't feel as that's one thing I do like about it as well. Like, they're not just getting Horcruxes like
well, they've got to
every
figure out how
single
to
day.
destroy
Yeah.
it first. That's
And
like,
they're there for months trying to find out how to destroy this one they've got and to find the others. Whereas like the last film, they're like, oh
well,
that all of them are in
now they
Hogwarts.
know.
yeah,
Yeah, well,
They're all
I
in-
think the last one, they're not all at Hogwarts.
apart from the one in the bank. But
Yeah.
the rest of them are.
So I mean, Harry already destroyed what 1, 2.
The diary.
Yeah,
Mm.
Dumbledore just destroyed the ring,
Yeah.
although it cost him
Well, his life.
pretty much.
I think you're right. I think they did need the kind of the space to give each of the Horcruxes kind of the weight that getting it deserved and the destroying of it. That kind of letting them, showing them, actually having to put the effort in to do all of these things to earn the victory themselves, and that especially sets up the second film. But I do think that because of the way it was done, it does make things feel slower because they had to
I think,
pad things out a little bit of time.
although it's slow, I think this film is perfectly paced. This is obviously in my probably biased opinion, but I think these characters, especially before the final film, needed time to breathe. You know,
Yeah.
like they go
Yeah.
through such dramatic changes from film to film. I feel like I needed to, in my brain, to know exactly who they were before the last film.
Yeah, you wouldn't feel the way you did at the end of part 2 if you didn't get part 1.
Yeah, because
You'd obviously feel like for the characters, but I think part 1 adds to it so much.
well, yeah,
because
obviously Harry obviously goes through the most changes throughout each film, and I feel like you needed to establish that he's actually quite a level-headed person. At this point, he spends most of the franchise being kind of crazy.
Well, he kind of, what does he do? He sacrifices his life for Ginny at one point. He's shouted at random people and just thrown hissy fits, and then he's been like partially depressed at times. So it's like
he's been so up and down. I feel like establishing that he's actually really level-headed and just a really nice dude, and the fact that he basically just wants to be a normal person, I feel like that's important for his character.
Yeah.
Someone else can speak.
I mean, what I think about the Deathly Hallows, you pretty much said. I mean, I really love that film as well.
Yeah.
Because I think you touched on it as well. Like, people don't like this film, and I just don't understand why. And I think
most people just think it's boring, but I don't.
I just like all the elements to it,
Luke,
and it makes it.
Luke, as a hater,
I have real issue with the discussion because I can't remember much about it. Was the Ollivander scene in this one or the next one?
Where he looks at the wands?
Where he's rescued.
That's in this one. This film ends on Dobby's death, which is also very sad.
Right.
And
that is very sad. I remember crying at that, actually. That was impactful. I think Ollivander is a good character as well. I think.
Yes, John Hurt is a lovely man.
Excellent.
Rest in peace, John Hurt.
Indeed. John Hurt voices the dragon from...
Yes, John Hurt voices the dragon. I don't know. I really like this movie. And I really like that chase through the woods. Most people hate that chase.
Yeah, you could just... what was it? What we were talking about it earlier. Evaporate.
Oh yes.
Yeah, that's it. Apparate. That's it. Yeah, sorry. It just that word went out of my head.
Is quite broken.
Yeah, in that chase, the plot hole for that is you could just do that and get away. I
think the idea is if you could possibly be caught by somebody, then what would happen to you is what happened to Ron, where he got spliced. Do you remember that
Possibly.
bit? Well, he got grabbed on the arm, and then his arm was all fucked up.
Yeah, but when they weren't, I suppose.
I get what you're saying.
She tries to impose some risks to apparition,
but it's a very overpowered skill, as is the fact that defeats can just turn into smoke people. So why don't they just do that all the time? Who knows?
And it's weird because in Order of the Phoenix as well,
the good people
the Order can turn into what? Yeah, but then they can never do it again. And
J.K. Rowling makes things up. We can get to this. Let's just finish this movie.
Yeah, I don't think they're criticisms of the film. I think they're criticisms of her writing.
Yes.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
J.K. Rowling is... Yeah, anyway. This movie is good. My second favourite. And that's a big ask. And if I actually had the option, I would group this one and the part 2 together. But...
Yeah.
As they are separate beasts... We will...
I think they should have pulled a Lord of the Rings and just done the whole thing together.
I don't.
No?
But I just meant I would group them if I had to rank them again. Because I would consider them one thing. But as they are actually separate movies, anyway. Definitely Hallows Part 2. I have it at number 3.
I have it at number 7.
Ooh.
Yeah.
5.
So
number
Dan,
5.
Start with the negative.
I just after part 1, which I thought was really good, it just because there was no. It just takes over a couple of days, right? The film.
I think, yeah.
I think so. And I it doesn't quite stick it for me. I'm not really. I just can never really put my finger on why, but I do like it. I think it's a lot better than Order of the Phoenix, which is below it. But there's just no. I guess because it's the final part and it's a big battle and that's what it's supposed to be. That's not really what I like about Harry Potter. I like the mystery and the world building more. Whereas this one's just like, let's fight people now and have epic battle at Hogwarts and destroy it. And let's feel sad for people who have died but haven't really been in the films.
Yeah,
too much.
I'll admit they went a bit kind of Hollywood big action on the whole castle defense thing, which made it less about the story and more about the spectacle.
Yeah, and I think that's because it was split into two parts, but I think you had to split this into two parts in my opinion. And like it's just personal preference why it's so low for
the
me.
Hollywoodness is a problem with the film or with the story?
It's probably with the film. I think like it's a good end to the Deathly Hallows. Like, but I don't think like finding Ravenclaw tiara,
Ravina Ravenclaw's diadem.
That's it. That being in the Room of Requirement and that with being like underneath some chairs was a bit shit.
Yeah, it doesn't really make much sense, but
yeah, I don't really like that too much. What was it? I like the Hufflepuff cup in the bank with all the all of Bellatrix's treasures doubling. Yeah,
that is very cool.
Yeah, I like that.
It's cool, but again, it's not one of them spells where like doesn't really make too much sense.
Yeah, it doesn't make too much sense, and I much prefer like I wish these Horcruxes were in like extravagant places like the Chamber of Secrets.
Yeah,
and I know
I agree.
It's quite hard to say, really, because I do like this film, but it's just not what I look for in a Harry Potter film. That's why it's so low for me.
Do you know what I did like for this film? Redemption 4. Oh my god, I can't believe I was about to talk about him and it's gone. Neville Longbottom. Neville Longbottom redeemed himself in my eyes. He became.
Yeah. I mean, he's he's blossomed into quite a beautiful man by this point.
He turns into like a leader, doesn't he? Kind of.
I don't know if it's a redemption as such.
Well, no, not redemption. Probably just improvement upon his character.
Yes, I agree. He does
that.
Things.
I think he deserved.
Yeah, because I can't even remember him in Half-Blood Prince. I remember him in Order of the Phoenix, I think, and he was still rubbish at spells then.
Well, yeah. Because he's always been the joke character, isn't he?
Yeah, and then I think he had one scene in part 1 where he like told Death Eater to get off the train.
Yeah.
And then like in this film, he's like the leader, and he's the one that goes between Hogsmeade and Hogwarts. Yeah, that's right. And then he kills Nagini.
Yes. He's a good character.
Yeah, he does.
In this one. Anything else, lads?
I like
about the final battle. Sorry, Dan, continue.
No.
Well, I asked a question, so you make a statement.
Well, I was just going to talk about the final like scenes of the film. So we could talk about that. That would make more sense to talk about last, probably. So how we talk about the battle?
I like it. I like that we don't really get to see much of it. You get what I mean?
You mean it kind of happens around them?
Yeah, I like that they're sort of running through the battle, which I feel like it's quite poetic because I feel like that's what they've been doing pretty much the whole franchise.
Yeah, you don't actually see any of the characters die, do you?
Yes, all the characters that die you don't see die, and I feel like that makes it feel like in a way they're being ripped from us.
Unjust.
Yeah.
Oh, no, you do see a couple of on-screen character deaths. Isn't one of the Weasleys you see that?
No. You see him getting disarmed, but you don't see him getting bodied.
Okay.
So, obviously one of the Weasley brothers dies, which is sad.
Very.
And Lupin and Tonks, which is mostly sad because they have a kid who's now an orphan.
I just liked both of their characters.
Yes.
And
oh well, yeah, I really like Lupin. Tonks was, but you know, Lupin...
I liked her more in the book. To be fair, she wasn't given nearly enough time for me to actually care about her in the films.
This is true. You know, it's just. I think the battle is not too bad. I like the big barrier thing they make. I like the fact that Voldemort destroys it in his rage.
Yeah. I like you were saying for Order of the Phoenix, I wish there was more creative spells being used.
Yes, I think turning the wands into a gun is not a good idea.
Yeah. I think the idea is that Voldemort didn't use complex spells because he was so angry.
No, it's not just Voldemort. Like in the battle itself between the Death Eaters and the students.
Yeah, but you don't really know what spells are being done. Again, it's like you don't see enough of it.
I suppose, yeah.
Yeah. I like the living fire in the room with the in the room of requirement. That was quite cool.
True. I think it's strange that they recast. Was it either Crabbe or Goyle?
There is a reason behind that.
Yes.
Do you know what it was?
He took a bomb to the London riots. Was it?
Well, I thought it was he was caught with drugs on set.
No, he was an attempted terrorist.
Yeah, I think it was both actually.
Probably.
So
either way, not a good guy.
He was in Half-Blood Prince.
Yes, that was his last one.
Yeah.
Anyway.
They didn't replace him though. It's a different character.
No, I'm pretty sure.
It's not supposed. It's not supposed to be Crabbe. I'm pretty sure.
Well, it's not the first time they've recast someone.
Did they just cut him out?
I think so. They just cut him out. Yeah, because the guy because it's Goyle that dies, and it's the other guy, and the other guy was on the train in Half-Blood Prince, and he says his name there, but I can't remember what it is. So.
Well, they're too similar, and they don't get enough screen time.
It doesn't really matter, but
yeah.
What was I going to say? Oh yes, I think another aspect of the defense of Hogwarts that I liked was McGonagall calling all the statues to arms.
Yes, and I liked the bit where she's like, "I've always wanted to use that spell."
Yeah, I like that. Yeah,
that's like character fulfillment.
And I like how they blow up the bridge.
True.
And they use
Neville.
the Neville and what's his name? He likes blowing up stuff. Seamus, that's it. Yeah.
The whole joke with him is everything he does, he blows up.
Exactly, and I think that was a good little nod to that.
Yeah.
You know.
I think this is a great finale, and I think this movie's strongest aspect is the twist with Snape.
Yeah, I agree.
I think he's the best character in Harry Potter.
Oh, absolutely.
I think yeah. Well, I think he's always been the most nuanced character.
And one of the best acted.
But I feel like that's solidified him as, you know, a cool kid.
He is excellent, Snape. He's
Alan Rickman's an awesome actor. May he rest in peace.
It's also like it's turning a villain into a good guy, and it's one of the best cases of I think how that's done. And you actually do feel for him. He's in the other films, you just think he's a dick. And then in this film, you're just like, oh, I actually didn't want him to die now. I love him.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
like his treatment to Harry throughout all the films hasn't been out of hatred. It's been out like just a very harsh love, you know.
Yeah.
Harry embodies both the love of the person that he loved the most in life, basically.
Yeah,
But also
The person he hated the most.
exactly, he is the culmination of the two people he had the strongest feelings for. So you kind of see both of those manifest throughout the films.
I agree.
Which is great.
And I just think turning Dumbledore into a sort of an almost bad character, or like a bad guy, I think that's interesting.
Well, in hindsight, if you look at Dumbledore
I mean, he's not really a good person.
In all of his actions, although Harry constantly says he's the best wizard ever, you know, he's second coming of Christ in a wizard. He never seems to actually embody those things.
True.
All of his actions, either they come too late, he's a bit too apathetic at times, and he seems too manipulative.
Yes, and I like the scene where Snape basically says, like, you're basically just raising him to die at the right moment. And Dumbledore's just like, yeah, I am. I just thought, like, wow, okay. That changes the films a fair bit.
It kind of upends the tone of a lot of the previous ones with Dumbledore.
All the times he's been, you know, looking out for Harry. Not really looking out for Harry because he's a good person, just looking out for Harry because he needed him to be alive, to die at the right minute.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
One thing I didn't like about this film,
Yes.
and some people probably would like it because it's kind of artistic, but like the way that Voldemort dies and he just goes into flakes into the air.
I agree. In
He did a Thanos before Thanos did a Thanos.
In the book, he dies like a normal human,
Yes.
and I feel like it would have been more powerful to show that he's not this mystical. You know, I just wish he didn't die in such a wizardy way.
Well,
You know?
what's also weird is Nagini dies, right? But he's still alive afterward. And then
because
Harry uses
the final part of the soul. Well, no, the reason he dies is because the killing curse rebound, because the Elder Wand can't hurt Harry because he's the true master of the Elder Wand.
Yeah, but Harry uses Expelliarmus, right? Or am I? Okay. Oh, right.
yes.
I see what you're saying now. Actually,
He does, but the only reason it backfires is because the Expelliarmus is pushing his spell back to him, and then it rebounds.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I would have rather, even though, I'd rather him just died
just like
after
a human.
Nagini died, or just died like a human.
Yeah.
Well,
it makes a little.
he is still technically embodying one fragment of his soul. Is
Yes.
Voldemort?
Technically.
Yeah,
Nagini just has one of them.
true. I always just thought it was Expelliarmus takes the wand and then he just dies.
No, they explain right at the end. Harry's like, the one couldn't harm me, because
Right.
also the disarming of wand thing, another thing that Jake added, just because doesn't really make any sense, because people get disarmed all the time, but that doesn't mean the wand changes its allegiance. Only counts because the last film says that's how it works. Again,
Also-
it's like a lazy plot device, isn't it? It's just like, oh, how am I gonna get this thing to happen? Oh, just add this. That's fine.
I'm not sure if I like the constant kind of green and red laser battle between.
I like
Harry and
the visualization. I just wish they would use more spells.
Yes.
More spells.
I wouldn't have minded that if there was more spells. Yeah, that's
Yes.
Yeah, she's got such an unrestricted magic system that you could literally do anything,
But
and that would
I
look amazing.
I feel like this is an issue with the films. Because
They could have changed it.
because
you're right.
because in the books they do use other spells.
Hmm.
But obviously, it's probably quite difficult to visualize a lot of the spells happening. I don't know. It's weird. What do you think of Old Man Harry?
I like that scene.
Have you seen the original version where they're like a lot older?
No, I have not.
Yeah, it's
No?
it's
I'll have to
weird.
watch
It's,
that
it's proper
afterwards.
weird.
I mean, how long is it? Do we have time for that now?
No.
Because Harvey doesn't want to end it.
Yes.
Oh, okay, I see.
Well,
we're at like 1 hour 45 maybe. So
Oh, we're doing better than last
we're
time.
not doing too bad.
By a huge margin.
But let's just keep it flowing nicely. I wish the scene where Malfoy throws Harry his wand was kept. Don't know if you've seen
Yes.
that deleted scene.
I know the part in the book.
Daniel, you know this scene?
I have not seen that scene. No.
So Harry flies out of Hagrid's arms after being fake dead. Voldemort's all surprised, and then Malfoy runs out and says Harry, and then throws him his wand. You see, that is, I feel like, why get rid of that? You know, it's a perfect
Well, it'd be
redeeming.
the culmination of his character arc, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and it's like Harry's pretty much, you know, not really been that much of a dick to Malfoy, and he did save him, even though he's been this bad person.
He
I just feel
did
like
almost kill him.
Because, yeah, but not knowingly.
Yeah, true.
So it's like, I think like we needed a bit of redemption for Malfoy rather than for him and his family to just walk off and
Yeah,
For that
have
to be
no
the end of
consequences
that.
and just be. That's it.
I also don't like the part where Harry just breaks the Elder Wand,
I do.
but doesn't repair his other wand first.
Well, no, because he's given a wand, isn't he?
No, but I haven't read the book, but I know this is part of the book. He does repair his
Original wand.
his original wand before.
I
destroying the
thought
other
you
one.
couldn't.
Well, that's what he
What?
does. Is that
That's-
right, Luke?
That's what he does.
I can neither confirm nor deny.
Well, if he does
Well-
that, then why can't somebody find both ends of the Elder Wand and repair it?
Exactly.
Bullshit.
Well, I mean, having a wand that is better than all other ones, a little bit of a MacGuffin-y thing to do anyway.
Well, the Deathly Hallows are a MacGuffin in themselves, Luke. This right. Let's
Oh, well.
let's finish with this movie, and move on to wider issues with Harry Potter. Firstly, I'd like to address the Deathly Hallows. The other one doesn't make much sense, but I get that it's a gift from death. The Resurrection Stone doesn't really do anything.
It does.
Kind of. Well,
It brings-
in the little animation, it says it brings people back, but when Harry's holding it, he doesn't actually bring anyone back. He just sees ghosts.
No, but it brings people back, but you can see them, so it brings them back from the dead.
Well, they're not
Yeah, but
technically.
but in Deathly Hallows, they say you can bring people back, but they don't come back the same.
True.
Like why in the same book change what the thing does? I don't get it.
Well, also,
Yeah,
why can't they just turn into ghosts like Nearly Headless Nick?
Good question. What makes you become a ghost? You see these.
that's never very well explained.
Also, in the first book, okay, I know this is an issue with J.K. Rowling just making shit up. In the first book, Harry puts on the invisibility cloak. Ron goes, "Oh, that's an invisibility cloak." But then it's established with the Deathly Hallows that there's only one.
He does say they're very, very rare, but yeah, it's
that's
not
clearly
like, yeah.
bullshit because
There's only one.
the Deathly Hallows,
Yeah.
like Death gave him his own invisibility cloak. So why, throughout the whole these films, has no one ever said, "Harry, where did you get that?" You know,
It's not a film issue again, is it?
it's a J.K. No, we're just talking about J.K. Rowling issues now.
I know she made stuff up. I think something she should have set ground rules for the magic system in the first couple of books, because like I've read a fair bit of fantasy, and you have to have decent drawbacks to having a magic
Yes.
system that is so loose. This one, else you can just
The
get away
thing
with
is,
saying
Luke,
anything.
I'm sure she did introduce rules, but then she just changed them. And that's just JK's
Yeah.
way. It's like she's published these books now and they're out and that's finite. But she just can't stop changing things. Like
Yeah.
Hermione is supposed to be black. Got no issue with that. I just wish in the book it was originally stated that she was black.
Well, I don't.
Because in
was
the books she was written and described as a white character. I just don't get why you have to go back on your own word.
I don't think she said, "Oh, Hermione is black." She just said Hermione could be like.
Yeah, I think
Who
she
you
said
imagine
she
it
could
to
be
be.
portrayed by
I don't know because
black person
then
without changing
she said about
character.
certain characters being different, like Dumbledore being gay. Obviously, you know, why?
I think that was already sort of a thing, wasn't it?
No, not
Was
in,
it-
not in the
oh, was it
films. No,
Not in the. Well,
think
I
it
don't
was.
think it was even explored in the books.
Hang on.
that's what I mean. She went back on it, and obviously it's
I
canon now
know.
because of Fantastic Beasts and all that.
I think she does a lot of retroactive, canonizing of things.
Yes, but that's obviously not how book publishing works.
No,
Once you
can't-
publish a book, that is how it is. I'm
can't
afraid.
do book 2.0, add a bunch of patches to your writing.
Exactly. Yeah, it's not like a game. You can't just release a
Yeah.
patch to fix it.
No.
What else is wrong with these bloody movies? Just a lot.
I think Harry's a bit of a damp squib in the first couple of ones.
Yeah.
I think he just seems to win through either luck or by his friends.
That's every movie, though, isn't it?
Sort of. But
Well, that's just my opinion.
Not all of them. I think also Hermione's character in the films is quite annoying, and Ron can just be an ass sometimes and doesn't really contribute much to the group for most of the film.
especially the first few.
I
Yeah.
think in the books, Hermione is less of a know-it-all and more of just a clever person.
Yeah.
I think that is a film issue, particularly. I think
The
they-
first few films were mostly pretty dumbed down. I feel like probably because it was aimed more at the younger audience.
yeah.
I
I think it kind of just
yeah.
she molded into Emma Watson's character, didn't she?
Yes, which I don't. I understand. Like, it's difficult. I would just stick to how it's described in the book, and then have the films be a portrayal of the book, rather than shaping the next few books on what the films have done. You know, I feel like maybe the franchise suffers a little bit. I don't know. It's strange.
I think you should never do the books and the films releasing concurrently, because then they affect one another and push the book to be written far too quickly.
True, but it's also interesting that no one knew how it would all end.
That is true.
Harry Potter as a whole.
It's fucking shit. Sorry.
No, it's a lot like Star Wars. It's one of those things that does have flaws that you can point out if you've seen enough of it,
Yes.
but is just
Enjoyable.
it's so
widely
enjoyable and by such a large variety of people and through age groups that it just has a cult following because of its escapism and its
Yeah.
universe.
It's sort of that, like, this seemingly unimportant kid turns out to be, the center of this world, I feel like stories like that always seem to be successful because people put themselves in that situation,
Yeah.
So it's the same with Luke Skywalker, seemingly unimportant person turns out to be the center of the story.
Yeah.
Well, there you go, that's the underdog, pretty much.
I think for me, Harry Potter, as much as I love the characters, I love just exploring Hogwarts and I love it when they go a bit darker, I think.
Yes, I agree.
And the music's great as well.
True, haven't touched on the music. Also, John Williams.
John
Mostly.
Williams. Attach his name to something, and it's good.
Yes. I think I actually do prefer lots of the other interpretations of John Williams' theme. There was a particularly good version of Hedwig's theme in, I think it was Goblet of Fire. Does any of you remember the opening music for that movie?
I can't.
It's Hedwig's theme, but the strings are like.
That's true.
The strings are the focus, and it suddenly becomes very sinister. And I just think it's good stuff. Let's Harry Potter or Star Wars. Pick one.
Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Wow, Harry Potter.
I think that is entirely up to the individual.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a quality of the franchise thing. I think it's just whichever one.
Okay, well, which franchise do you think is more successful?
Star Wars.
Star Wars.
No, I mean, like, I feel like Star Wars. There's a lot more flops. The more stuff doesn't work with Star Wars, I think.
I think Star Wars has a worse ending at the moment. I mean, one day there might be an episode 10, 11, and 12.
There won't be.
If by success you mean quality of storytelling as a whole, I think probably it would be Harry Potter.
I mean, like, if you have to
series.
consider these things as a complete package deal, you got
I think
the Harry Potter films and the Star Wars films. I think Harry Potter feels everything feels slightly more on purpose than Star Wars. I feel like Star Wars is definitely a lot of, like, let's just make this expansion because we can.
Well, I think part of that is to do with the difference in timescale between the two's creation.
True.
Because one of them was made over 30 odd years with different iterations between them, with different people's ideas coming out, because it wasn't a pre-written story. Well, Harry Potter, you had the foundations already written, mostly. Again.
Okay. Give it a look.
Sorry. What is it with me today?
I don't know, man.
And then you had the directors putting their own spin on the world, which worked very well for the most part.
Yes. Well,
Harry Potter's a better ending for its franchise as well, I think.
Well, let's just say if I had to sit down and watch all of these things in a group of days, I would probably pick Harry Potter, personally.
It's quite equal for me. It depends how I'm feeling. If I don't really know. If I want to, I actually don't know what I'd choose.
It's difficult.
I think Yeah, for me, I enjoy the world of Star Wars more. I think I've probably been engrossed in more of it and involved in more of it than I have Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Would
It's
agree.
probably just personal. Well, plus there's just more Star Wars media, I suppose. You can be involved in the Star Wars universe in more ways than just the books of Harry Potter and the films of Harry Potter.
Well, yes, but the Harry Potter stuff is all expanding all the time. Harry Potter game coming out, and
I do like the
Fantastic
look of that
Beasts
game.
movies, and
I don't like the Fantastic Beasts movies.
I think the first
I can't
one.
see away from number 3.
I think the first one isn't terrible.
No, I agree. I like the first.
The
Dislike it.
second one is a lot of talking and me not understanding what people are talking about. But I
think
do.
it's trying to set up the third film too much.
I do like Johnny Depp in that movie.
Oh,
Shame he
Well-
won't be in number 3.
yeah.
It is, and that whole situation is pretty criminally unjust. If you've been following what's going on,
I did, yeah.
you know.
Well,
But
they just stopped him from being able to play the character for allegations. It's not even been proven.
But he's got proof against her. But he's
But
he's the one that
ultimately,
he's the one that got
he lo-
convicted. So
Yeah, he lost, so
I think that's bullshit. But anyway.
yeah, I don't really like either of those films, to be quite honest. I didn't even like the first one that much, even in cinema. I remember watching it and coming out of it quite underwhelmed. So
I was underwhelmed, but I just thought like, oh, this could have been a lot fucking worse.
it's just
True.
those films. If I compare it to Harry Potter, and I just missed the mysteriousness of it.
Yeah, they definitely
which I thought
have
the world was like.
they lost the wonder.
Yeah,
Anyway, let's conclude there. We're at a good almost 2 hours, maybe.
I think it's a little over.
Probably. Yeah. Harry Potter, good. We like. What should we what franchise do we do next?
Other than Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings is difficult because I see Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit as basically the two things that you would compare. I wouldn't compare like Fellowship, Tower, Return. They're all sort of part of the same thing, in my opinion. You get me?
Yeah, I get that. I could probably rank them though.
I feel like
Yeah,
there would be less point because there's so few.
Well, I mean, you could rank the 6 of them. But
Yeah,
True.
there's films.
I'd have to rewatch them because like I haven't. It's been a while.
Well, I watched the last Hobbit recently, and then all of the Lords of the Rings ones. So
We could do Marvel. That
Marvel-
would be difficult. It'd be a long one.
no,
that would have to be a several-parter.
or with Marvel, you could just do the lists and say why you don't like it, and then just skip the section after that because that'll be way too long. And also,
yeah.
I've not seen every Marvel film, so
Okay,
We could have it like
you could
top,
list them and then talk
10?
about the main ones.
yeah.
Yeah, we could have our own top 10, and then talk about any that are common between them, and then go about discussing the ones that weren't common between them. So we go like, if any of us
Yeah.
liked Ant-Man or something, and neither of the other two did, then we could talk about it.
Don't be silly, Luke. Don't be silly. Anyway, that's
You like Thor: The Dark World, don't you, Harvey?
I like Christopher Eccleston. Anyway,
Right.
okay, that's gonna be the end of the podcast, everyone. I hope you enjoyed us talking about Harry Potter for I don't know, like a little over 2 hours or something. Hope we didn't bore you to death. If we got anything wrong, I don't really care.
But by all means, let us know. Let us know where we went wrong, and we probably won't read your comments, but at least you'll have vindicated yourself.
Oh, I'll read them. I just won't reply.
And if you haven't already, go check out our 3.5 hour Star Wars podcast, which is interesting.
It's probably maybe. There you go.
Remember to like and subscribe.
Thanks, Luke.
Harvey Bridgewater Productions.
I don't usually say that, actually.
You should be shilling.
No.
It's part of parcel of the whole thing of YouTube. You shill for yourself all the time.
Be sure to smash that like button.
Oh, and also, check out the gaming channel.
Oh, yeah.
Where gaming goes on.
That's Harvey Holbrook.
This man games.
Oh, Harvey Holbrook Games.
Ever want to know how to get 100k in Warzone?
Yeah, that's so
That's
interesting.
That's the only place you'll find out.
Oh, yeah. Right. Okay. Everyone say goodbye.
Cheerio.
It's nice having you. See you next time.
Ciao, darling.
Bye.